Hey everybody, welcome back to another rendition of Mir Musk, episode 35, the Bobo interview. And Bobo, it is an honor to meet you, sir. Finally, it's amazing, my man. I cannot believe we're right here basking in your presence. It's a blessing to meet you.
It's the pleasure to be on with you guys yourself.
So, Bobo, I just want to go for the record real quick. Did you see your how what was your take on your Yankees this year, my man?
I'm a Mets
Oh yeah,
fan.
that's right. You're a Mets fan. Shit, my bad, man. What was your take on the Mets this year? What'd you think about that and Verlander and all that shit?
I don't know. It's just one of those signings that just backfired on us. Didn't quite turn out didn't quite turn out as we hoped. But just this year he didn't pan out quite as we hoped. The whole We hardly had any bullpen. We literally had no closer. Literally before the season even started, when Diaz got hurt, I was when when I found out that happened. Literally, I saw that injury happen during the WBC when Diaz got hurt.
Right.
You could hear me cursing up a storm, like my mother was wondering if there was anything wrong with me, because I was upset. I could tell you, I've gone through. I cannot tell you how much.
Why are you a Mets fan and not a Yankees fan? Usually from New York, the Mets are
I
like, the mentally challenged retarded stepbrother
well,
to the
well for one
Yankees.
for one thing, I grew up in Queens, not
Okay.
literally about an hour on public transportation from the ballpark, and also the little thanks to my mom taking me to a lot of Met games growing up as a kid.
Oh, okay. What's
That
your Oh, go ahead.
that's were probably good when you were coming up too. They had that run in the '80s where they were a
Well,
fun team.
a little fact. Then 4 years old me went to Game Six of the '86 World Series with my mom.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the most famous games of all time.
Yep.
And
That's why you probably have seen me in my pictures. You've noticed quite often one of my go-to jerseys, and they have a few different eras of Mets jerseys, but one of my go-tos is often this '80s Mets jersey, because that was the first. Those were the jerseys from that around that time I was introduced to the Mets.
the amazing Mets. That's it, man. Yeah. So you've been a sports fan your whole life, and you kind of came on the scene and rose to prominence in show business. What was your? How did you get involved in all that type of stuff?
Well, it was me visiting Opie and Anthony during the 57th Street years. That's all, and they just somehow by luck, because after me doing saying on air for tickets to the traveling virus tour.
Right.
They just took a liking to me, and I got to be on the show a lot back. But yeah, for that context, if you don't remember, back in 2008, around that time, when they were on XM before the satellite radio companies merged, they had a studio audience at 57th Street, and I went because for years I'd wanted to meet the guys, and I found out that was the way to do it. So, and it just turned out to be something a little bit more than I expected.
What was your experience like going in there for the first time in studio, seeing Opie and Anthony do their thing on live air? What was that? Was it just a surreal experience for you?
Well, for one thing, I've been a fan of the show since I was a teenager. I
Right.
remember the days when they were on the WNEW here in New York. So I just couldn't believe it that this guy's right in front of me, and I'm seeing, and then that it's no thing that, like, of course, like off air, but I'm seeing various staff members, and I recognize them, like, oh my god, like this, that's E-Rock, that's E-Rock, that's Sam, that's Travis, like
Mm-hmm.
that that's Andy, and I'm seeing Steve Carlisi there, like these are these guys, like I'm actually in I'm actually in the same room as these guys that I've been fans of for a while, and it's like there's Opie, I mean there's Jimmy there, like it's just one of those things that just I had to pinpoint, so they couldn't believe it. And which, by the way, one of my cherished O&A items I got a hold of that day, which is a signed well sticker signed by all three of them.
Oh shit! Okay, nice. You
That's
still
the
have it?
Whip It Out Wednesday bumper sticker.
Yep. I had to get that. I had to get that framed. It was just the perfect size for autograph signing. The size they made those stickers, it was just perfect. I came prepared for that to get something signed by them. I brought the silver Sharpie with me to get them autographed. So I know.
Spoken like a true sports collector, you know, you come prepared.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, that was just cool to get to meet them, got a photo with them, and it just turned out to be something bigger than just that one visit.
Right.
And it still amazes me that I still know this guy. Every time I walk into the compound and I see Anthony, it's like, it's still amazing. I know this guy.
Right, you're friends with them.
Yeah, you're basically friends with those guys. You know,
yep,
to this
exactly.
day.
So, yeah, but it's gotten to the point that I know them a bit more than just someone I knew on air.
Right.
Like this guy. Like, I have to admit, Anthony's always felt like someone that could have. He just always gave me the vibe of like a relative, because I swear that the sense of humor just feels like something that I'd hear out of some of my relatives.
You're like distant cousins or something.
Yeah, like that's the vibe I always got with Anthony.
Do you still talk to Opie at all, or no? Are you guys?
I haven't heard from him since 2014.
Oh wow!
Literally, the last time I had visited the Opie and Anthony show prior to when Anthony got fired and when they broke up. That last time you heard me, that was in studio with all three of them I was there. Last time I saw all three of them in the same room as me, that was literally the last time I ever heard from him.
Mm. Did you and Opie ever? Were you and Opie ever closer? I guess not. It was just more business.
Yeah, something like that. I heard from him Sunday, but I didn't hear. I literally hardly heard from the guy off air. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Well, I know you've done some work with Jim since.
Yep, exactly. I do visit Jim and Sam from time to time, and of course, I also make numerous visits to the great Chip Chipperson.
That's where I've seen you. That's because I'm a podcast guy, and I knew a little of Opie and Anthony, but I've kind of found the lore afterwards. But I was watching Chip Chipperson's YouTube show, and I saw you as a guest on there a handful of times.
Yep, I'm there.
Always entertaining. Yeah.
Yep, I'm there.
It's so funny.
It's always entertaining seeing the Chippa. I tend to get some Chippa lines stuck in my head that
right
at work, because some of the guys I work with are fans of you know, they know me from the show. They know I'm on the show, so sometimes I'm joking around as I'm loading a UPS truck and doing the Chippa impressions.
Well, Bobo, I kind of want to walk down memory lane with you first about your time on O&A, because you had just so many iconic moments that will last all of time. You know, it can never be replaced. But I kind of want to go over one of the many instances I want to go over with you real quick is that time you were with Patrice when you were showing your cock to him and you're doing that trick or whatnot. Remember that?
Yeah. That just still makes me laugh hearing that. Let Patrice laugh at that her, and that was just me at the time just talking about a girl I had a crush on at the time.
Right. So like you were showing your cock and they're making you move it up and down, because then they have you talk about the Mets and your dick would go down, and then then Jim Norton would fuck with you about breasts or something like that. And
so they were talking to me about the girl I had a crush on.
Right.
Describe this girl that it was. What was her figure like? Hair color, height, weight?
Well, I don't want to kind of put her on the spot because.
Right,
you're gentleman. I mean, because she's in a happy relationship. Still a good friend of mine, but yeah, she's in a relationship and stuff. So I don't want to put her on the spot too much. But you probably remember her from the Chip Chipperson show from some the one prior to Zia. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I had seen a lot when Zia had come around. Was it Keanu? No.
No. It's with Christina.
Okay. Yeah,
But,
no, I
but,
mean,
but
I didn't know she was even famous. I thought it might be someone who I just meant like, oh, did she have
yeah,
like banging ass, big tits, that type of
Right.
stuff.
Camel toe.
Well, that's good.
But,
I mean, that's good that she's
That she's taking,
but
she's happy, she's
Yeah.
living a fulfilled life. That's good for her.
yeah, that's good.
What about that time? Oh, God, I forgot that gentleman's name they always had on that white comedian that was always pretty funny. I forgot his name. He's Jewish. Oh, damn. It's when they trolled you about, it's when they were messing with you about your girlfriend on Twitter coming into studio and they were asking you about her date.
That whole thing. It was just.
What was your take on that and your perception? What were you thinking when you heard she was coming into studio?
Yeah, that I wasn't sure what the heck to react like that, and then of course, now I kind of laugh and I feel weird listening to that clip because that whole thing was a prank.
Oh, that was iconic, man. That's some of the best radio I've ever heard.
Yeah. I just look at that like I'm shocked myself.
When you talked about getting a bus ticket for her, you pick her up in a bus or something like that. And you,
I don't remember what I said because I haven't listened to that clip in years. Even though I do have every clip I've made on Opie and Anthony archived on a flash drive.
Right.
I have all. I usually have all my clips if I want to reference something.
Right, of course. What about the time you first? What was the first time they ever made you show your dick in studio? Can you run me through that scenario when it first happened? Do you remember or no?
That was just some. It was just something when I was talking about. I had a crush on, and they were insisting on knowing like what I'm packing.
Yeah.
Of course, that's very important to know.
Yeah,
I wanted. Yeah.
As you would expect an Opie and Anthony, only on Opie and Anthony, only on a show like that would they want to know what I'm packing.
I want to go back to that first time so you went to go meet them at the studio and you by chance were able to catch their attention. I mean, you'd been a fan. I don't know if you were a caller, but what sparked them to see you and be like, hey, what happened that first time that got you on the air and then the reoccurring coming back?
I don't know what it was. It's just because back then, they had you could you signed in advance, show up at studio, and I just made frequent visits, and they were just enjoying me when I volunteered to take part in, I don't know what it was. They just took a liking to me, I guess.
Of course,
and
makes sense.
I just have to be at the right place at the right time, and
right.
I'm just grateful. Like
You're great radio.
But I'm just grateful I've been a part of this, that I've gotten to be a part of that I've gotten to know some I got to know Aunt Jimmy, all the comics I get to be on, I've gotten to know. It's just great. It's just great. That another one I got to speak very highly of, Colin. Of course.
Right, that's it. Yeah, Colin. Yeah. Well, I mean, Bobo, they gave you your own show with David. Remember that?
Yeah. We sort of did that sort of David and Bobo bit for a while. People ask me about whatever happened to David. David doesn't talk to anyone from that universe anymore. But
he peaced out.
Yeah. He doesn't talk to anyone from that universe before. I think there was one time I saw him and he didn't quite want to approach me when I ran into him somewhere.
So he wanted to put it all behind him. He got out of the game completely.
Yeah, exactly. Though speaking of me hosting a show, I do co-host a New York sports podcast with a good pal of mine, Robert Kramer, who's also a fan of the shows.
No, he's a great man. Yeah, I hit him up, and he's a fan of our show with some of our interviews. So he hooked me up with contact with you. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Robert's a great guy. We're we're actually going to be going to the outdoor hockey game in the Meadowlands together in February
nice.
18th. We're going to the outdoor hockey game, Rangers Islanders in the Meadowlands, February 18th. It's actually going to be it's going to be I forgot. I've attended every outdoor hockey game the Rangers have took part in, so I'm no stranger. I'm no stranger to having attended an outdoor hockey game. I already got them. So I'm probably gonna look like Kenny from South Park in some photos at the game.
I went to one of those at Wrigley for the Blackhawks many years back, and yeah, it's a fun time, being out in the elements for.
Yep. I just remember cracking up the one in 2000. Out of the ones I attended, I thought the 2018 the one at Citi Field was the coldest. Rangers Sabres. What happened was people were yelling at the beer man because the beer was freezing as soon as they opened it.
Yeah.
And I just knew that thing was gonna happen. So I knew I'm just saving my drinking till after the game at Donovan's, which is a couple of subway stops away from Citi Field.
Right.
Which I passed through to get to my house, because where I live I got to take a bus then transfer to the subway. Believe it or not, there are some areas of New York City that are not near a train station that you kind of that like me. They got to take a bus to get to the subway. So,
Bobo, did you ever have a show on Compound Media by any chance, or no?
I did host a few specials on and off on Compound. I've hosted a couple of specials with Machete, which were really great. And it was I enjoyed that. I also made numerous appearances on the Eastside Dave show, and on the Eastside Dave's current show, the Davey Mac Sports program. Definitely got to give a shout out to Eastside Dave. Hilarious man, dating all the way back to his days on the Ron and Fez show. I don't know how much.
Didn't your buddy what's his name? I forgot the tall motherfucker. What's his name? Shit. Stevie Lou tried to fight Eastside Dave right in studio on Compound Media once.
Yeah. That was just some stuff on air, but that whole thing's been resolved and.
Okay, so they're good now.
Yeah, they're good, and Dave's on good terms with the Compound people. But
right.
there was something that I don't know what was going on back then in Stevie's mind, but Stevie.
He's smoking more conjas, so he's more calm now, right?
Yeah, but believe me, see, in the words of Chip Chipper, Stevie's a chill dude.
We've had him on a couple times on our show, and yeah, he's an entertaining dude. But actually, you have your own tree of your own of people you've brought in, because like Opie and Anthony brought you in, you kind of made this guy Mersh, who was one of our former guests, famous, right?
Yeah, exactly. I did. I became good friends with him. I opened for him at a comedy show a few years ago.
Oh yeah, but I think even like when he got his start, he was working with you, right? So you guys have been boys for a long time.
Yep. I've known him for a while. Mersh is a good guy.
Yeah, I love Mersh.
He was great on our show. Just true pro. He's a broadcasting. His voice, everything. He's got it all. He's got the complete package. So
I look up to him.
Yep, I could definitely tell you he's another one that's a good guy.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as well, I mean, like I just wanted to touch on him because you brought up Stevie Lou. I knew we had Mersh on, and then just trying to think of any other crossover. But so what era were, if you're looking back, because I assume you're kind of a historian of Opie and Anthony too. Like what was your favorite era of the show?
I feel like maybe probably I love the some of the stuff for the WNEW years, because I love especially listening to the clips of Jim Brewer on the show.
Oh, Jim Brewer's awesome.
Who I was kind of bummed out that it never played out in a, because it's sometimes random who happens to be there when I'm there. I would have loved to have been in studio at the same time he was there, because those days when he was on the show, that was extra epic. Like I would record those shows. Like I've recorded Opie and Anthony broadcasts on cassette tape from the NEW years. Whenever Jim Brewer was on, because I knew those were going to be extra special. Those shows when he was on,
Right.
and I I've seen I've actually seen him live a couple of times, and I could tell you that would be I hope one of these days that it works out that way, that I happen to be visiting Anthony's studio at the same time Jim Brewer is there, because like a lot of Met fans that know the show, some of my Mets peeps says they got to see an episode with two of the craziest Met fans Anthony has ever known in the same room.
Yeah, speaking of Compound, are you? You know, I know Anthony had some health issues lately. Are you still you try to still pop over to the studio, or have you kept in touch with him? How's he doing?
I still come by from time to time to visit the shows on the network, and I have kept in contact with him. He's doing well. From what I gather, he'll probably be back around the Christmas break, around after the Christmas break. But
Right.
he's doing well. He's recovering fine from that from the
No more drinking at all. He's off the wagon, right?
Yeah, something like that. He's doing
On the
whatever he
wagon.
needs.
Oh yeah.
Whatever he needs to do to recover. But he's doing whatever you need to do after you've had that kind of medical procedure.
Of course. I mean, I'll be surprised he just starts ripping shots right after having, what was it, quadruple bypass surgery or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like that's
a bit of a knock towards his own body and the health professionals that helped him freaking come back to life, because he was gonna die.
But I still got to give credit to those health professionals.
Yeah, we got Decline was saying, is Bobo trying to hide his identity? We asked him about it. It's a little dark where he's at, but his light needs to be charged. So that's the issue. But this man with his voice,
that's all you need.
Yeah, he's indistinguishable. So everyone, and then it was subsequently mentioned in chat, there's no fake Bobo. This is the real one.
This is the real Bobo. So Bobo, I want to dig deeper into your past, because I'm sure there's more to be said than there hasn't been said. What was your childhood like growing up in the tri-state area? Not, I guess, the tri-state area, correct? I'm sorry, kind of
New York City.
Yeah. What was your experience growing up in New York City in the '80s? And can you walk me through that?
For one thing, I was born in '82, and my dad died when I was very little. So when I was like 4 when my dad died. So my mother,
right.
so my mother was a single parent. And my sister, of course, I was like 13 when I was born.
You were 13. Oh, she was 13 when you were born. Okay.
And then I was 13 when she was born.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was confused. Okay.
Yeah. My mother tried. She tried being in a relationship. Didn't work out well. But
you don't like the guy?
What?
Did you like the guy at all, or nah? Personally,
it was okay. It was just the relationship, my mother, and then that. I don't want to go into personal details. But,
no, you're good. Yeah.
But it's just her relationship with him didn't go well.
Right, it went south. Yeah. Right, but continue on, sir. Sorry.
But yeah, then they do that. But yeah, then I also have two half brothers from my dad's previous marriage before my mother.
Okay. But someone actually mentioned too, and we had touched, I don't know if we did this on air or off air, but we were talking about baseball before, and how long you've been a Mets fan. You mentioned basically since birth, you said when you were 4 years old, you went to.
But basically since birth, all right. My mom took me to games at a.
She raised you right.
Yeah, she started taking me to games at a very young age, and then of course, once my sister was born, I kind of maybe took on a bigger father figure role than her father sometimes. So I took her to some games with me also. So
right.
But my mom she started taking me to games at a very young age. So I've been pretty much a lifelong Met fan, and I'm at City Field so much that some friends and relatives think I live there.
I was going to ask you. I went to City Field year one when it opened, and I went to Yankee Stadium year one when it opened. But what's your take on it compared to Old Shea?
I I think I do like City Field, but I do miss Shea Stadium because that ballpark just is a big part of my childhood. That was like the first baseball stadium I knew.
Dude, I think
Like,
people miss all the cookie cutters now because now they're all like the modern style, and I
right?
miss the old concrete stadiums.
Yeah. I think most, especially that when the people that have their first for some of those fans, their first memories of going to games were in those stadiums.
Right.
Like I said with Shea Stadium, of course, Shea Stadium, of course, was I feel like was maybe one of the more unique cookie cutters, and it was more of a baseball stadium than it was a football stadium, which was kind of before my time when it was used for football.
Right. Yeah, that's the
It,
thing. Like everything got so specialized and then all optimized for making money on certain levels and seating and club levels and all that
exactly.
type of stuff.
But even then, Shea just felt more like a baseball stadium than it was a football stadium. When I look at photos of what it looked like in football configuration, it's obvious that it seemed like it was built more of a baseball stadium than it was a football stadium. Because I've seen some dual use stadiums that it seems like they were built more like for football. Because in the past I have seen the Mets on the road. I've seen the Mets on the road at Veterans Stadium, and that stadium seemed like it was built more for football than it was for baseball.
Right.
I've seen the Giants on the road in Philly at that stadium, and I noticed how different it looked as a football stadium. It seemed to more that one I have a more better idea because that one seemed like it looked like more of a football stadium than it was a baseball stadium. The old stadium in Miami was kind of like that also.
Well, the Metrodome was like that. And, I'm a Twins guy. You're a Mets guy. We both are around the same age. So we both had, when we were young, our championships. So we have the memories of that stadium. But the Metrodome was like, it was not set up for baseball at all. But I miss it because, like you said, when I was young, I would go to games there and you could sit way up in the nosebleeds. Or when you were a kid, you could mess around. There's like always 10,000 open seats because
Right.
it fits 60,000 for a baseball game. So it was one of those places where it wasn't maybe built for baseball, but it was you have the memories of being there and then also the championships that came with it. So
Yep,
it's tough.
exactly.
Bubba, what was
But
your take on the 2015 Mets, man?
that that was just a World
I
Series.
bet
I
you
just
were
felt
heartbroken, dude. I bet you were
I was
heartbroken.
heartbroken. I just felt like every one of those games felt winnable, and I was at Game 3, by the way. I attended Game 3 of that World Series, and every game of that World Series felt winnable, and
Didn't you
was
guys
like,
get smacked like 4-1 or something?
yes, only we lost 4-1, but every one of
Yeah.
those games was like close.
Right.
I don't know, they just felt winnable, and at Game 5, I just felt like they left Harvey in too long. Like they should have went to the closer. They should have went to the back then was Jerry's Familia. They should have went to Familia in that ninth inning because it just looked like Harvey didn't have anything left. And I I was right when that moment I said I was maybe yelling at the TV. I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit different when I'm watching a game. That's to the point that people know, like, yeah, he's watching the Met game.
Oh, dude. Playoff baseball, like you get all riled
Yeah.
up. Like I can watch playoff football, I can watch regular season football, and I'm more of a football fan, but
Baseball,
once,
you get pissed, dude.
once baseball gets going, you're like, you start, oh my God, it's way more
Dude,
tense.
I tried rejuvenate. I tried getting back into baseball with the Cardinals this year, and I probably watched 2 weeks worth every fucking game, nonstop. From first inning to ninth inning. I was screaming and losing my shit so much at us blowing early game leads that I was like, I can't watch this shit. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. I have to stop watching. It's too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, but of course, you being from St. Louis has brought back some memories of 2006, like which
Oh, what? You know,
That, that,
when we won? Yeah, it's good shit. In
yeah, that game,
2011 when we won too.
that game 7 was a painful memory of the 2006 NLCS.
Oh,
I was
no.
at Chase Stadium that night.
You were? Oh shit.
Yeah. I was at Chase Stadium that night. I'm sure you
I'm
remember
sorry,
that.
buddy. I'm sorry, man.
On
But
this
yeah,
same note, who's your favorite Met of all time?
that that would be Gary Carter, who was a friend of the family when he was alive.
Oh,
Super,
okay.
yeah, who by the way is probably one of the nicest people I've ever known. The guy was just he was a great person, not only as a player but as a person as well. And
Hall
that
of Famer.
picture I took with him when I was very little during the summer of '86. I was in and out of the hospital a lot, and there was some people that I don't know, there was someone in our neighborhood from the Mets that arranged for me to get to meet him, and he just became a good family friend since then, and it's just a super nice guy, and as a player and as a person. And some of my favorite pieces of Mets memorabilia are some of the stuff that I've gotten from him over the years,
Right.
including the very photo I took with him when I was little. He autographed that, and I still have some stuff, including like the poster when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Mets gave out this poster, and he autographed it. So I still so and there, and he was just super nice as a person. And when he passed away, I purposely went to where City Field is to pay my respects, and I left flowers by the old home run apple which is in front of the entrance to City Field, the old apple from Shea Stadium.
Yep.
I just left. I had to go there to pay my respects when he passed.
That's awesome. So, not to pry too much, but you said he visited you. Did you have some health problems when you were around the time you were born?
When I was little, there was like some urinary system issues when I was little.
Like urinary
Okay.
tract infections or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was some urinary system things, like
Okay.
I don't know. There was some urinary system blockages that
And
I had to go through so many operations when I was little. I was in the hospital a lot when I was little.
oh, that's
That's tough, yeah.
yeah. And then what I didn't know. I mean, I knew Gary Carter, great catcher. He was a little before my time of watching, but he was an Expo too. I always loved the old Expo guys. But how did he end up passing?
He passed away by I think it was a brain cancer.
Oh,
Oh, that's
dude.
awful. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Puckett went out at like age, I think like 45 or something too, 44. And he had a brain aneurysm, and he only had a 10-year career, but was first ballot Hall of Famer, and he was my favorite guy, obviously, with all the cards. But
Right.
yeah, so I see the parallels with those two guys, because he had a little bit of legal problems at the end of his life, but he was the same as like everyone loved him, most beloved player in Twins history. So
Yep.
uh,
I'm
Yeah,
curious. Did you ever get to meet him?
I was working at Best Buy, and he came in once, and he was shopping for, I guess, DVDs back when you could buy DVDs. And I saw him, but I didn't meet him. I didn't go up to talk to him or anything because I was working. I didn't want to bother him. But at
right.
that
You're like,
same,
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, yeah.
yeah, at that same place, I sold a Latrell Sprewell laptop.
You sold
I met
Lucas
him.
Spiro a laptop,
Yeah.
bro?
Yeah,
Hey.
and I shook his hand, and I sold him actually an iPod back right when iPods came out.
Yep.
I sold him all these electronics, and he was with a bunch of his kids, and they were piling up stuff in the cart. And yeah, the one thing I remember about him is how big his hand was and how soft it was, because it was like, I don't have small hands, but he had a big hand, and it felt like a catcher's mitt. And it was mid-season, so it was one of those things where it was like, he was playing for the Wolves at the time.
Yeah, they were
but
soft.
Yeah. I was like, damn.
I mean,
Basketball players have soft hands, I guess. They're playing with balls all day.
Bubba, you a Knicks fan, man? You in the NBA at all?
Yeah, man. I'm a Knicks fan.
You
And
see
as a
Jalen
matter of fact,
Brunson drop 50?
yeah, I saw that. That was just impressive. I just hope that the Knicks can still hang in there at the trade deadline and make that. It looks like they're going to have to make a big move at the trade deadline to get over that get to that next level.
Who would you trade? Julius Randle? Julius Randle is having a renaissance right now from earlier in the season, right? So he's somewhat playing very well right now. I mean, who would you trade?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I can't even figure out who do I
Picks.
trade.
Yeah, right.
Who do you want? Because I know a bunch of people are talking about the Timberwolves were maybe the Knicks were looking to get Karl Anthony Towns from the Timberwolves, but now the Timberwolves are just winning every game and he's playing great, so they probably aren't going to trade him.
No, they won't.
Is there any guys you're looking at?
I really, yeah. It's just it's whole moment for moment. By the time February comes, I feel like that's when you really know who you probably have a good chance of getting.
Like a DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine or something.
Yeah,
or you could get Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond, buddy. He's good.
Yeah, yep.
He might crack your foreign players with a fucking, upside the head, but other than that, he'd be straight.
Yep, but yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, that'd be starting to once again see the Knicks good again, because I just remember growing up, especially in the '90s, there was just once a time where every year it felt like the Knicks could win it, and it used to be annoying losing to the Bulls in the playoffs all the fucking time. So like when that documentary came out, that whole documentary,
The Last Dance.
Yeah, it just brought back painful playoff memories.
With John Starks choking really hard in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, just all those things that I still remember that the closest we ever came to winning it, that '94 NBA Finals. Watching that, for one thing, I still remember having to listen to the radio feed of one of the games, because one of the games of the NBA Finals happened on the same day as that white Bronco chase.
Right.
Yeah. That was the famous. That was game 6 or something where they interrupted the game, or game 1. I can't even remember, but yeah.
I think
OJ.
it was game 6. I also remember that day because that was the same day the Rangers had their parade when they won the Stanley Cup in '94. Which a 12-year-old me did go to that parade, by the way. My mother took me to that parade. So
that was Messier.
Yeah, yep, exactly. The guarantee. I remember in my at the time I was living in the neighborhood of Queens of Woodside, and I remember hearing the fireworks in my neighborhood going off when they won the cup. I don't know how these people got a hold of these fireworks ready for the moment. I don't know if they just stockpiled them up from a megastore in Pennsylvania, having them ready for the 4th of July, and they realized, let's bring out these fireworks a little early, or they just went to the megastore in Pennsylvania and bought them for the occasion. Because, and in case you don't know what I'm talking about, New York, when people usually, I'm not promoting this, but some people try to do their own fireworks shows. You kind of have to go to Pennsylvania to get those fireworks.
Right.
Usually you go to one of those mega stores. They got those mega stores. I've seen them before.
Yeah. I mean, I've traveled around so much, and in states where it is not legal for fireworks, then you pass over the border and there's like huge fireworks stores everywhere. Like, so people just get them and take them back. It's like,
yeah, exactly. You go to Ted's Fireworks Emporium, get some fireworks, then you're good to go.
So, Bobo, how did you and Stevie Lou become friends? How did you guys get that out?
I met Stevie Lou during some of my many visits to Compound Media, especially being around the Eastside Dave show a lot.
Right. And you just took a liking to him, his vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And he lives not far from me, as a matter of fact.
He what?
He lives not far from me.
Oh, okay. So you guys go to a lot of Mets games, I'm guessing, or something like that.
Yeah, I go to some Met games with him, and I visit him. I visit him from time to time because he lives not far from me. Because I live like close to like I'm in the western end of Queens, and I'm not far from like the Brooklyn and Queens border. So I just take a little bus out there, and it's like just a few minutes, and I'm right there where he lives, because he lives not far. Stevie Lou lives not far from me.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
What was your take on? Do you like Gino Bisconte on the Compound Media? What's your take on that? About In Hot Water?
Gino has some hilarious moments.
Yeah, you like him?
Yeah, so sometimes I've gotten some lines on the show stuck in my head like that. This guy gets it.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
I've gotten those things. This guy gets it stuck in my head, and then sometimes actually at work, speaking of In Hot Water, I go old school. I I'll sometimes wear my fly over Phil shirt at work.
Yeah, as far as the Compound, I was a big Compound guy right when it popped off, and there's a lot of shows that I was watching back then, like Gavin and Red Bar
Yeah,
and
Red
Legion
Bar.
of
Yeah.
Skanks and all that type of stuff. What do you think of the trend of what do you what's your favorite era, or what are some of those shows that Anthony had built out on his network over the years that you've really gravitated to? I know East Side Dave and of course Kumia, but anyone else you
Yeah,
miss or
well, I missed that original version of In Hot Water. It was just gold. Like,
okay,
like,
With Aaron Berg.
like,
Berg?
yeah, exactly. And as a matter of fact, I do go see Aaron Berg live when he performs because I do miss that guy. There was just some fun. There's still some funny moments with that.
Why did he
That
leave? Do you know why he left? Was it because of his heart, or was there something else going on at the time?
no, I just think he just wanted to move on in a different direction.
Right, right, yeah,
That's what it was. I don't want to speak for anyone, but like from what I got, it's probably how it is. It's kind of how it is in that business sometimes.
right.
But
Yeah, I had
but
heard they're talking about different lifestyles because I don't. Berg is, he doesn't drink or he's like in recovery. So, and it was a very party centric show. So maybe he just wanted to get away from it.
but but yeah, I do I fully support whatever decisions they made, and it's not like I don't get to hear from Aaron. I still hear from Aaron from time to time. Still still doing great. And I do have to say I do miss all those old Aaron bits. Like I still, as I said, I still wear a flyer. I still wear a flyover Phil shirt at work.
Right.
It's a sleeveless shirt. Which, by the way, you know what else that shirt's great for at work?
What?
I don't know if you're familiar with this cartoon called Regular Show.
No.
I've heard of it, but no, I've never
but-
watched it.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us about this show. I go, wait, what's the show about? Because I've heard of it, but I never.
Well, I don't know how to say about it, but don't get fooled. The show may have been packaged as a kids cartoon, but there's a lot of PG-13
little
jokes in
sexual
that show.
innuendos in there.
Yeah, but the show's just freaking
A lot of rape
hilarious,
scenes.
and there's just a lot of nod to a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
and one of the perfect things that sleeveless shirt is good for is at work if I want to do an impression of a character on that show.
Yeah, so you do a little entertaining with the guys at work, you were saying?
Yeah. Sometimes I
You
joke
try to-
around, like like sometimes there's a little bit of a chip impressions.
Nice.
I'll do some chip impressions as I'm loading. As I'm loading the UPS truck. I work at a UPS not far from me, short distance from where I live.
You ever get
I'm working-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I work there for 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. during a weekday, so it's a rough job.
Oh, so you're
especially
doing
during
the
the
third
holidays.
shift.
Yeah, I load those trucks.
How'd you fall into that?
It just looked like a good deal. That's what it was.
Gotcha. Okay.
And at the time, the storage place I was working at a storage place that went under. So
Are
it's
you,
like,
are you trying to drive, or are you just gonna?
and now I'm just loading a truck. I'm just loading a truck. That's a whole other animal driving those trucks. You need like a CDL. Plus I hear I hear it gets insanely hot in those trucks. So it's just
Right.
it's a little easier just being a loader. But I am in the process of getting my driver's license, but just to drive a regular personal vehicle.
So
Probably keeps you in good shape,
yeah.
moving boxes.
Yeah, I can tell you that, but I feel winded like when I get out around at 9 a.m. in the morning, right?
Well, I
working
mean,
for.
you got the guns to show for it. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit ain't freaking. That shit's heavy, bro. I mean, I've had buddies who used to do that stuff. You can. They.
But
I had one guy break his fucking back doing it.
yeah, I know what you. I know what you mean. I may have. I think the worst thing I've had, maybe I may have had like maybe a pole or something, and maybe knocked me out for a couple of days, but that's about it.
Right.
I got a question on that. Have you ever had any like crazy stuff happen like with a package? Like there's like
Well,
a person in a box or something, like
no,
was trying to
no,
sneak into.
I think the heaviest thing, and this is one of those cases where I had to get someone to assist me on it. There was one time I loaded a snowblower onto the truck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are heavy.
and
They are heavy.
and me and the coworker were probably thinking, couldn't someone just get their pickup truck and pick this thing up?
You know what, Bobo? Because it is Christmas, I do want to ask you some Christmas questions. You know, 'tis the season, as they say. What is your favorite Christmas memory as a child?
I don't know if I really have a signature
What are you,
memory.
Jewish? Are you? No, you're Latino, aren't you?
I'm mixed. I'm a mutt.
Okay. But continue on. I'm sorry. Continue.
But I've had some good Christmas memories. I guess growing up watching some of those Christmas, some of those Christmas animation and some of those movies with my relatives.
What's the best present you ever got as a kid growing up that you like really loved?
There's just so many. I have to say probably some gaming systems that I've gotten over the years. Also, I have to say some of the Star Wars figures from the '90s, which I still saved because those were pretty cool.
That's dope. Hey, I got a question that someone from the chat was. We ask all the people who come on, but do you know this guy Ray DeVito? Have you heard of this guy before?
Very vaguely. I kind of know the name.
He's a nobody, yeah.
Yeah, if you knew who he was, we'd ask what are your thoughts on him. But if you don't, it's no big deal.
Yeah, he's a loser. But anyway, so Christmas memories. So, do you celebrate Christmas at all? Because I'm not kidding. You kind of look Jewish with that hat, with like the things with your glasses.
I celebrate
Christmas. Jew.
I celebrate Christmas. Also, this hat. This is just something I wear on game day during the Ranger games. This fedora.
Okay.
It's kind of a thing, like how like at football, how the player that most factored in the win, they'll give him the game ball.
Right.
The Rangers have a thing called the Broadway hat, and this is a replica of the Broadway hat.
So they give it to like the 3 stars or something, or someone wears it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the player that had the most factored in the win, they get to wear the Broadway hat after the game.
Dope.
And this is a replica of the Broadway hat that I have here.
Okay.
I wear this at a Ranger game. So if you were to see me at a Rangers game, I'd be wearing my jersey and this hat like I'm wearing today. Also, during the playoffs, I don't shave during the playoffs. If the Rangers are in the playoffs,
you don't shave?
I don't.
Like
I don't.
under or up top.
No. I'm talking about my face. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't shave for the entire length of the playoff run. And there's pictures of me on social media I've taken during past playoff runs, because what I'll do is going into each round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
After they advance through each round, I post a picture going into the next round, what I look like going into that round, and usually sometimes I have my dog in the photo with me.
Nice. What type of dog you got?
He's a poodle schnauzer mix, Mr. Maloonigan.
Nice.
Maloonigan, I like that.
While we're still on sports, what you got, an NFL team?
I'm a Giants fan.
Okay, so you do know a DeVito, just not Ray DeVito.
Yeah, you know Tommy.
Yeah, I know Tommy DeVito, who I have to admit, I would love to have. I would love to have that guy in my show the show that I do with Robert. I feel that guy would be a fun guest to have on the show. And I had to admit, the last couple of weeks, for as long as this winning streak has been going, I pick up a chicken parm sandwich from the Italian place not far from me.
Who do you guys play next? Fuck, I forgot. Who was it? You guys,
We're playing
Saints?
we're playing New Orleans next Sunday.
Whoo!
I don't think the Saints are
I
there are a lot of smoke and mirrors. The Vikings handled them pretty easily, but you saw the Vikings today. Not to get sidetracked, but
right.
yeah, no, that's a great it's a great sub story for the season. You know, this DeVito guy coming along, and then
the Daniel Jones.
But by the way, speaking of the Giants, I did attend Super Bowl 46.
Oh, nice.
My neighbor and his father invited me to the game.
How was that? How was going to the big game?
That is something else. One thing, it did feel weird attending a football game in an indoor venue because I'm just used to the pedal weight, so it felt weird taking my jacket off at a football game. But that was something else, getting to see that in person.
Yeah, and it's also kind of weird because it's like there's no home team or no away team, so it's kind of like, and the games like got that weird flow to it. Usually the Super Bowls. So
actually, the crowd was mostly Giant fans. Surprisingly, that game.
Yeah, because Pats probably had too many trees, you know.
There was like a huge contingent of Giant fans at that game. I could tell you that. Also, in case you want to know, when the teams do win it, they do sell the championship merch at the stadium as soon as they win it. So I was able to buy the hat and the shirt as soon as they won it, because I didn't want to chance it when I got back to Queens, because I didn't know if the Modell's, which was a sporting goods store that used to be in New York.
Go ahead.
Out. But the newspaper, my mother had to go to the bodega to get the newspaper for me, because I knew by the time I got back to Queens it would sell out. So I had to have that in my collection. But I got back to New York in time for the parade.
What's your take on the Jets? Do you like the Jets at all? I mean, you're a Giants fan, but I mean, the Jets are pretty much right then and there, right? They're right next to them.
Well, I got some respect for the Jets, because I got some friends that are Jets fans, including my co-host, who's a Jets fan, who I have a running gag this season. Remember that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode? The episode that, well, this isn't the title of the episode of Curb, but I refer to the episode as a Jet fan episode, because I just feel because I feel like this episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm was written by a Jets fan, because I know enough Jets fans to know that they pretty much get the vibe that a Jets fan wrote that episode.
Right.
And you know, the one when one of Larry's friends that killed himself because of how upset he was over the season, and Larry tried to get with the guy's widow. You remember the episode, right?
Yeah, of course. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. Great show.
Well, I've referenced that episode a couple of times with him. I'll joke around. We do during football season, we do a Patreon show where we wrap up the games of the two local teams. We do like a wrap up show.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll go to him after the game. I'll jokingly say, Jets fan suicide prevention, how may I help you?
What do you prefer, Curb, or do you prefer Seinfeld?
I don't know. I feel like I kind of like both equally, because they just work that well, and I feel like the reason Curb exists is because of Seinfeld.
Right.
Yeah. Because I just feel the most, and I'm gonna miss this show when it ends, and
when he dies, or he's so old he can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Actually, this season's gonna be the last season. This new season.
Oh, it is. Oh shit.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it's gonna be the last season. They just announced it. Hold on a second. I gotta hook up this phone to a power bank.
No, you're good, man. Do what you do.
Yeah, I got.
Bobo, what's your take on the crime in New York City nowadays? I heard it's really bad over there. People are being pushed into subways, people being robbed, gunpoint, stabbed on the streets at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm not liking it. Of course, thank God Thank God sometimes I make sure I'm not in certain areas at certain times, but I'm not really liking the mayor.
What's
This
his
guy,
name?
like Eric Adams, him and his
Right.
predecessor are horrible. I mean, I miss the days with Giuliani and
I was gonna
Bloomberg.
say, man, they're doing Giuliani dirty lately, and
Yeah.
he should be the mayor right now. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I feel like really, I feel like how could you turn on this guy? Don't they realize how much better things were with this guy as mayor?
He saved the city.
And with this guy, this current mayor, Eric Adams, I just always remind people I pretty much can make a meme out of it with so many photos of different things. You should have
Right.
voted for Curtis Sliwa, the last mayor election. Which I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Have you guys heard of Curtis Sliwa?
I do not know who that is at
no,
all.
I'm not. I
Well,
don't know
well,
that
well,
one.
well, have you ever heard? Well, have you ever heard of this group of people called the Guardian Angels? That kind of
Yeah,
No, I have
yeah.
not.
Back in the day, they'd wear the berets.
yeah. Curtis Sliwa was the guy who founded that organization.
Oh yeah,
That
and he
that,
ran,
that
right?
yeah. He ran for mayor. I feel like this guy led to that movement that maybe led to Giuliani becoming mayor. And these guys, I feel like did a. I mean, even to this day, I feel like they do a good job looking out for the people of the city. And my mother credits. She says she would tell me to this day that when she saw those guys on the subway, those guys in the red berets, she knew, yeah, this is going to be a safe trip home.
Right.
And I even once I on my way back from Compound Media, I met Curtis on the. I happened to see him at Penn Station as I'm walking to the train, and I just said hi to him, and I told him about that what my mom had said, and he was really appreciative of that guy. And I just feel like that guy should have been elected mayor. I just feel like he just has enough New York experience to know what needs to be done.
So, can you give me any backstory on Eric Adams? Because he kind of just came out of the woodwork. What's your take on Eric Adams? His backstory about being
I
New
just
Yorker and shit.
I just feel like he's just a fraud. Doesn't even live there. Apparently he lives in New Jersey.
Oh, he's a New Jersey boy. All right.
Yeah. Apparently he's just one of those just make the organization look good hires. Apparently, when he was a cop, when those promotions, when those bullshit promotions.
Well, and like with that guy you were referencing, I had heard his story a little bit, and the Guardian Angels. It's like that was like a community supported organization that was just meant to keep the streets safe, and that's very honorable that he had done it. Like I think through the 80s, 90s, and all that. And yeah, so he had a lifetime of service of good service. So but
Put your life
people
in danger.
people found something about him and trashed him, and then you know how the voting stuff works. It's like you
I
never
know.
know.
I wish people would understand. This guy goes on the front lines when the mayor is just busy doing his whatever vacations or whatever he's doing. This guy is on the front lines. He's actually speaking to the homeless. Like he's trying to actually help out.
I heard Eric Adams. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Chow. Sorry.
I mean, I don't really have much to say. I just said like all the stuff is just so like absurd when it comes to all the politics, and now it's like
I
for
know,
me
like-
it's even hard to discuss because I don't even know where to start or what.
Yeah, because like Eric Adams was pro migrants or something like that, and now he's anti migrant and he's trying to kick migrants out of New York City or some shit like that. It's like, okay.
You never know with any of that.
Yeah. I just never know. All I can tell you this is that ever since Bill de Blasio was mayor, the E train. I feel uncomfortable riding the E train.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel like the E train. I just apparently the MTA work. I know some MTA workers who told me they refer to the E train as the homeless Hilton.
Well, yeah, it smells like piss and shit, and it reeks of
Yeah,
homeless.
I've had to bring a vomit bag with me to ride the E train.
They should be eradicated. I agree.
It's not that. I just feel they They need to do a better job controlling the situation.
I mean, they can if they want, but they're not going to. I
But
mean,
it's just like I throw up in a puke bag. I have to take a plastic. I have puked in a plastic bag on an E-train because there's. I don't want to describe. It's hard to describe what I've seen, but I've seen stuff on the E-train that makes me puke. So every time I'm going to a place that I have to use the E-train, especially depending what time of day it is, I just know I might have to deal with some stuff that might make me puke on the E-train.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's too bad. Hopefully it gets turned around. I see a comment here from Doompill. It says, "Yo, didn't Mersh used to be his chauffeur, Small World?" We did touch on that a little bit earlier, Doompill. So go back and listen. Yeah, they did some comedy shows together, and we were talking about that earlier in the show. But yeah, so I mean, we kind of touched on a bunch of sports. So you got your sports show that you're doing. What what about like, not to get like personal, but you got any like hoes on the side, or what are you doing for like women these days? What's going on?
I'm kind of low key on that because I don't
Low
want.
key, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm low key when it comes to any relationships I'm in, just because I don't want people to deal with some crazy ONA fans. All right,
Yeah.
they're because I just know that it's gonna be some crazy ONA fans. I don't want anyone to deal with lunatic ONA fans. That's all I gotta say.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I mean, you've obviously
So,
lived this life of being a semi-public, semi-private guy for a long time.
So all I want to say is that if I am in a relationship, it's very 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 low key. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not. I'll leave that up in the air for the viewers to try to
for the fans to fantasize
Yeah, I was gonna
about.
say, like, we get Dalish on here, but I don't know if that'd be stepping over the line, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to be respectful.
Yeah, I'll leave the viewers to figure out if I'm in a relationship or not. All they need to know is that I'm straight. That's all they need to know.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, sorry guys, you know, who are in the chat.
It's good to reproduce. Bobo, do you ever want to have children at any point in time in your life, or are you kind of just closing the door on that?
That I don't know.
Gotta find the right person.
Right.
Yeah. That's like way ahead of that I don't have an answer to. Let's put it this way.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have one more question for you, if you could humor me. So you're on ONA, you're doing your thing, you're killing it. You guys have your own after show with David, and that actually did very well. People enjoyed that, even though at first people were shitting on it. I think it was just a gag at first, but I mean, after a while, it was good. I enjoyed listening to it whenever I did listen to it. Did you ever meet Lady Di by any chance?
Yeah, I did. I met her. If you're asking about her these days, she's private these days.
She's alive though, because I think we talked to Bob Levy about it, and he said she was alive. I just want to confirm that.
Yeah, I get updates on her from time to time, but she's private these days. Doesn't appear on camera. But she's private these days, from what I hear. Though I do get updates on her from time to time.
Can I ask you about something? Because I wasn't a huge Opie and Anthony guy, but I had been watching Joe Rogan, and they made a clip very famous of like Baby Bird. What were you there for that, or what are your thoughts on when that happened?
I wasn't there back then, but that clip is just hilarious. That's when that clip is a classic. I listened to that one live when it happened. I listened to it live, so I remember it, and that's just the sad loss that the guy who was a part of that bit, Pat from Menaki, is no longer with us.
Oh, okay. I
and
was going to ask what happened to that guy because it was the combination of like a great like radio scenario and then the fact that they had the video of it. It was just so comical, like how it happened.
I could tell you, Pat was a hilarious guy in person.
Whatever happened to that homeless guy, Mustard or something like that? That played that song by Creed.
I have no idea. He's, I believe I heard he's still alive. I don't, but I just know he hasn't been on the air. He hasn't been on the air or anything in a while. I just know he's hope. I hope
He's
the guy
hopefully
is
still breathing.
I hope the guy's doing well. I hope the
Right.
guy's doing well because it sounded like he's trying to make something of himself, and he's trying to. It sounded like when I heard him on air, he's trying to bounce back. So I hope I'm hoping he's done well for himself.
So I got a question for you here, because you're an O&A super fan, and you were, you knew the guys to some extent personally during their time together at the end of Anthony's time with the show. What was your take with the breakup and then Anthony getting fired? Like, what was running through your mind during that time period of the show when they fought on air, that famous fight on air about eating? Remember that? And then Anthony got fired at some point later on.
Well, I don't really know what to make of this because it's really whatever happened between the two of them, whatever happened. But that firing was, I have to admit, was a sad thing when that happened. Like, I just remember when that firing happened, I just saw like an alert on Twitter that he got fired, and that shocked me because I thought, like, what country do we live in that the person who got attacked gets fired?
Yeah, I mean, he misgendered the person, so I guess or whatever.
No, I don't think it's what it was. I think he was
Racial
taking
bias or something.
No, it wasn't that. He was taking pictures of Times Square empty, and someone who just showed up in the background probably thought he was trying to photograph her, but he wasn't, right?
Right.
She kind of had a misunderstanding and attacked Anthony, and he just got upset. Look, I can tell you one thing. I remember that tweet very well. Anthony did not use a single racial epithet.
He didn't say animals or some shit like that, like they said he did.
Well, he said a word that could be used to describe anyone. It's not animal. Is not a word that could be used for just one race. It's pretty much anyone. Just anyone who attacked me, I could refer to as an animal.
Right. It's
right. Doesn't matter what gender, what race. It's pretty much a term to use, like, when someone's upset that, so someone got attacked. The best way to describe it.
Right.
Yeah, and that was when that happened. It was kind of surprising that he got fired, but that was like right at the beginning of all this. Like nowadays, like, and almost was like that was like one of the first times, I don't know, like canceled or whatever you want to call it. Nowadays, like, yeah, like people get canceled for way less in some instances, and it's way more prevalent. So like that was like, I guess you could call it groundbreaking for because like it was like one of the first times like someone on Twitter got in trouble for something.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate because really, I mean, the good thing about it for me was like then I started watching. I was a podcast guy. I was never a satellite or a terrestrial radio guy. So I ended up I discovered a show and started watching him through his Anthony Cumia network at the time, then eventually Compound Media. But yeah, just kind of broke up, I guess, their team, or the synergies they had with Jim. And so I know I know like a lot of the fans that in these realms are like we're it kind of was the end of an era, I guess you'd say. So
and it's sad to see.
Yeah, it was, but it looked like they were from what I gather, they were going to break up anyway. I heard things that it was probably going to happen. So
Right. Well, I got one last question for you, Bobo, because I'm very interested. Because you live in the cut, you live in the shit. Is there a lot of racial? Because when Anthony did that tweet, back in what was it 2015, 14? I'm
Yep.
guessing about the animals, and it was a black person he said it towards,
Yeah.
so people took offense to that. Has there been like a lot of racial animosity towards other races in the city? Has there been like people walking on eggshells around in there? Or is
Yeah.
it pretty calm to the most part for the everyday person, or is it actually pretty much a war zone to some extent?
Well, I feel like it depends on where you are. Like where I live, it's pretty. In the neighborhood I live in is pretty calm. The best way to describe it. But yeah, I just feel like there's some places that when something happens that people overreact to, they just have riots for no reason, and it just annoys me with those protesting how they allow. Last time I checked, you're not supposed to shut down streets like that.
Right, that's illegal.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and they're just allowing that, and it just bothers me how people just blame every police officer for this. There's one thing people got to realize, and I mean, unfortunately, that maybe some things were a little bit, maybe they overdid some stuff, but there's people that do that are horrible in every profession. There's someone that's
There's always
doing
a piece of shit in something.
in every profession. Another thing, sometimes people gotta understand, cops have to go through. They have to make difficult decisions that we don't have to. They gotta make decisions quick. People that are like first responders and stuff.
Right.
Every second counts, and sometimes they want to be in a situation. They realize that you want to better have your chances in the hands of 12 people than your life taken by one person. And
Yeah, no doubt.
and I have a good idea about this, being that I'm related to a cop. I have an uncle in Florida who's a cop, so I have an idea of what they go through. Being the fact I got a relative, I'm a nephew of a police officer, and I got some friends that are police officers.
Right.
So I do have an idea of what they go through. I've even been on a ride along, and I've been
Yeah,
on a
I've been riding along too. That shit's
uh,
fun.
I've been on a ride along in Florida, and the best way to describe it is that if you've seen the show Live PD, try to think of it as that, only it's like Live PD, the live tour. The best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
and
unfortunate.
and and they just people just got to understand. Like I said, they deal with difficult decisions that are much this, so you don't have to. They're there to make those decisions, and it's not an easy decision, and they have to act quick.
No doubt. No doubt.
And
Can I ask you a little future question before we get out of here?
sure.
What free agents are you looking at? You got any of the imports that you're looking at out from Japan coming over? Or
Well,
Oh yeah.
right now we're hoping that the Mets are going to sign a Yamamoto as pitcher.
Yamamoto is? I was hearing rumors that he might be getting a 10-year deal off the rip.
But I guess it's worth it. The Steve Cohen's got the money for it. Might as well go for it and hope.
Might as well spend it.
Yep, exactly. This guy, I know for a fact that Steve Cohen's gonna do everything he can for this team to win, even if there's maybe for a while we gotta wait for some prospects to develop. I just have a feeling in the long run, Met fans are we're gonna thank this guy. Like I just have a feeling by 2020, by sometime around by 2025, we're gonna it's gonna happen, and I cannot words will not be able to describe how I'll react if the Mets win a World Series. I don't know how I'm gonna react. It's gonna be very unpredictable.
You
I
better
just
go on
don't.
Compound Media and spread your love and joy. That's what you should do.
Well, I know that's a given for sure. Probably gonna
You should
call
do.
it.
No. You know you should do. You should reach out to Greg Opie Hughes and say, "Hey, we should connect for a show or something." That's what you should do. Rekindle that friendship.
I do that, but that's a little bit of a stretch because
How about this? If we get a Twins Mets World Series, either I'll come out there and go to a game with you, or you come out here and go to a game. Probably be a little colder out here, but
if you pay for the flight, I'll make. If you pay for the flight and the trip, I'll make the trip out there.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll have to scrounge up tickets if that ever happens.
I'll pack up. I'll go there and I'll pack whatever. I'll pack the thermals, whatever I need.
Whatever you need, buddy.
Bring your parka in October.
Yeah, exactly. Believe me, I have plenty of stuff. I've been through some winter weather, and I've had experience being in the places that are very cold. I've gone up to Vermont before. I've gone skiing in Vermont. So I've been through places where snow has gone up to my knees, and sometimes end up getting snotsicles.
Right.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you know what that is when you're congested and the snots freeze.
Yeah. Your big nose, it's stuffed up with it's awful,
It's
man.
a bitch. But Bobo, we're gonna end the show here, sir. It was great. Do you have anything you want to plug, like your own podcast or anything like that?
Sure, I want to plug my my podcast, the Best Seat in the House podcast. It's on YouTube. You could follow me for all the little updates. It's on YouTube. We also have we upload new episodes every Thursday. We also do a Patreon show during football season. After both local teams have finished their games, we do a Patreon wrap up show. It's $5 a month to subscribe. And also when the two teams play on separate days, like let's say one week last week the Giants were playing on Monday,
Right.
we'll do two shows that week. And I believe the Christmas week we're doing something like that because I think the Jets are playing like the 23rd or the 24th, and the Giants are playing the 25th. So that's a good example. So you see me and Robert do two shows because they're playing on separate days. But we do that, and we also upload some. We actually use the Patreon to upload to do like an early access thing with my YouTube videos. You may have saw a little funny video I posted on YouTube that I did a video called Real Life versus Infomercials with me and Robert. It's basically a tribute to this video I saw on YouTube that this guy did a similar thing, Real Life versus Infomercials. So I thought it'd be funny to do that. You know those infomercials when you see something very simple and it looks like a struggle. That's what that guy did with this YouTube video.
Bobo, what are you plugging? Come on, man. I gotta go, dog.
But I just a little bit. I'm sorry about that. I got into a rabbit hole.
No, you sounds like you got some good comedy and sports. It's what we both love. So I can't wait to check it out, man. And it was an honor getting to talk to you and meet you. And wishing you all the best and your teams all the best in the upcoming year. So keep in touch, bro.
Yep, definitely. It's good to see you guys. And you guys have it. You guys have a good night.
You too, Bobo. Be safe, brother. All right. Go Giants. I hope you guys win Sunday, brother.
All right.
All right. Later, buddy. All right. It was fun. It was a great time meeting Bobo. He's an amazing person. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show. For real.
Thanks,
He's a great
guys.
guy. Bye-bye.
Next time. Later.